With the long, dark night of winter looming above us like a haunted Victorian child begging for bread in the night, it's time to get spooky, but not too spooky, Susan, and set some intentions before the frost sets in. This episode, we're looking at the Celtic origins of Halloween and doubling down on our stance to bring crime and vandalism back into the holidays. We're also cursing you with our verbal stims, enforcing important mug rules, guessing ADHD celebrity blind items, and telling a mischievous high school pizza secret from two different perspectives that ends in a valuable life lesson for the children. Don't get caught.
They said that we'd grow out of it. Well, the joke's on them, that's just our brains. We're eccentric, loud, and stubborn, and most of our clothing is covered in stains. It's not a deficit of attention, there's just too much to think about. So if executive dysfunction becomes a little too much, if you forgot why you came in this room, or you're hypersensitive to touch, then put on your seamless socks and come join our little flock. Bitches stimming together, we're weirds of a feather. Weirds of a feather.
I need to warm up a little.
Okay. Can I read you a quote from my T tag?
Please.
This was a quote that was not designed, not for us. How about that?
All right.
A new segment called "Not for Us."
Okay.
Says, and this is one of those yogi teas. Let your thoughts give hope, guidance, and upliftment to all.
No.
Not for us.
Upliftment?
No.
Is that a word?
No one wants to be in my head.
Yeah, my thoughts are not doing that. They're
Yeah.
not working as they're supposed to, I guess.
No.
Let your thoughts uplift you.
No one wants to hear these thoughts.
No, they should
My
stay
thoughts are
inside.
vampires, cannibals, you know?
No, they're not.
These are things that I think about, and no one needs to hear this. I mean, I
Except
guess
we've decided they do because we did a whole podcast.
So that was one. I wouldn't call it uplifting, but that was one thought. But
I mean, people don't like it. No, some people don't like it. Susan didn't like it.
So many more where that came from.
Yeah.
I feel like every once in a while one escapes and goes into the ether, but I try to keep them all within.
Yeah, try to
for
hold
the sake
it
of the
inside.
world.
Yeah.
Yep.
Keep them safe inside.
Yep. Don't let them escape.
Yeah.
Just like what does also say? Holding in all your feelings. Oh, my niece is going to be so mad at me right now that I don't know this.
She's listening.
Conceal, don't feel.
She's listening and she's upset.
Yeah, she's
Your niece.
upset. No, she doesn't know what a podcast is.
Conceal, don't feel.
She only knows horses right now.
Oh.
We're in a horse phase.
Of course.
Like aunt, like niece.
Niece, yeah.
Yeah.
Theoretical horses?
No, she has a real horse now.
Wow.
She's a real life horse.
Lucky little kid.
I know. My brother spoils the crap out of her.
Yeah.
She's very cute, and so I see why. I feel like if I wasn't such an ugly kid, maybe I would have gotten my way.
You're not an ugly kid.
Oh,
just a little ghostly looking.
Ghostly, matted hair. And
you looked like a haunted Victorian child.
I was a haunted Victorian child.
You basically were. You
Yeah.
had those big-ass bangs. World's thickest bangs.
World's thickest bangs, yeah. And then just like weird, wavy / a little bit matted in the back hair.
Yeah.
You know, rocking that.
Well, I wouldn't brush my hair, and so my mom gave me a bowl cut. So
wow.
You could have had a bowl cut.
I could have had a
Could have
bowl
been
cut,
worse.
if only.
If only.
Could you imagine?
It would
just
have been
stick out
triangle
straight.
hair. Yeah.
I
Real
would
triangle.
have looked like the villain from Gru.
Yeah, you would. I look like a pencil. Also, when I worked at the preschool, we had this one little girl who was very flat affect, very funny without trying to be. But she would always want me to push her on the swings at recess and just push her and push her and push her. And she would sing Let It Go, but she would just go, let it go, let it go, let it go. And she would just scream it. And like we would try to sing the rest of the song, get her to move on.
Yeah,
No interest in the rest of the words.
No
interest in finding any type of like tone. Just let it go.
It's more just shouting it. Maybe she's just trying to like
let it go.
Yeah, she's like a affirmation of some sort rather than actually singing.
You're right. She was just chanting to herself.
Chanting. That's what it is.
Let it go.
Let it go.
All right. I think we're in it.
Yeah.
So welcome to Weirds of a Feather, an ADHD-Adjacent podcast. I'm your host, Grace Bure.
And I'm your host, Kristen Stanhope.
Whoa. Here we are.
Here we are.
And we're not letting it go because it's time to start the show.
Yep.
And then we'll let it go at the end.
Maybe.
Or we'll just keep talking and talking, and this podcast will go forever.
Oh, like, this is the song that never ends.
No.
Goes on and on, my friends. Some people
No.
started singing, not knowing what it was.
And they'll continue singing it forever just because it is a song that never ends. All right, you got me.
Man. This is going to be... I'm glad to have that in my head for the next week.
Yeah, thanks a lot. This is a fun episode already.
Yeah, here we are.
All right, instead of a warm-up question, even though we've already done some warm-up chit-chat.
So yeah. Why warm up when you're warm?
So this is like a already warmed up, but let's keep getting warmer type of
crank the heat.
Little segment, pre-segment segment.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the pre-segment segment called Grace's Opening Commentary.
I love it.
Because I find that whenever I listen to our episodes that we've already recorded, I always have like all these little notes and comments that I want to make on the episode, but it's already out there. And then I just have to like forget my comments. So this time I'm saying them. So
you could always say them like in the Instagram post or on Facebook or all these great social media platforms that we have. Where
I could say them here right now.
You could.
And that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
All right.
Let's do it.
First comment. I have a bone to pick with you about the shoebill. You're talking about...
The fake bird?
Yes. First of all, they're not called shoebill storks anymore because they're not actually a stork. That's an outdated name.
Because they're a puppet. Because they're not a fucking bird.
Because they're actually the Shoebill Puppets. Sounds like a mascot. Shoebill Puppets.
I would root for that team.
I would too.
Go Puppets!
No, they are birds, but they're not technically storks. So they're just called the shoebills, apparently.
AI-generated birds.
Yes. But you're talking about how terrible this bird is. I can't believe you didn't share the most menacing fact about them, which is that the razor-sharp edges of its beak allow it to decapitate their prey quickly.
Jesus
They are known
Christ.
to often behead their prey before consuming them whole.
What?
Yeah.
How did I not read that?
I don't know. I read an article that was 14 menacing facts about the shoebill.
It's literally called. We have to put that in the show notes.
I have it in there.
14 menacing facts.
And they even eat baby alligators. Fucking birds eating baby alligators.
It's not a real bird. Real birds don't eat baby alligators.
They're decapitating baby alligators and swallowing them whole.
A puppet bird.
Isn't that horrifying?
Controlled by computers. There's no way that is a real bird.
I think that's a pretty cool fact about the shoebill.
I think it's a cool fact, but I don't think it's a real bird.
Well, in the lore of this shoebill puppet, that's what they do.
That's insane. Those birds, I can't eat. It's not a real bird. There's no way.
I believe you're real, shoebill, and I support you. All right, my next little comment.
Oh, you got more?
I've got more, baby. I've realized that once I share a verbal stim on here, just like with hobbies or anything I'm doing, often it's in a negative way where I'm so proud of myself. I've done this thing. Wow, look at me. I have this new habit or this new hobby.
Yeah.
And I share it on the podcast. And then immediately after, it's like, all right, and now that's done. And I stop doing this great hobby or habit that I had. And I was like really proud of it. On the flip side, I've noticed that once I share a verbal stim, like we just did my current verbal stim, it usually actually goes away when I've been driving myself crazy with it. But then I was wondering if it's just like passing it on to someone else, like in the movie The Ring, where you're just like, you pass it. Like, I don't know if it's disappeared or if someone out there has been cursed with my
singing
or
your
verbal
song
stim
or something.
Yeah, just singing whatever, singing. So if you are out there and you have been cursed with our verbal stims and you're still shouting, it's a po-po, let us know because I want to know. Did it disappear once I shared it and I got it out of my system, or has it just been
transferred?
Passed on? Yeah, has the curse transferred? And then my final thought, just a little one. I was thinking about our conversation about tiny things and tiny thing hobbies and how autistic people are probably more likely to have tiny thing hobbies. You know what another one I thought of? Ships in bottles.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
That's a great one.
Isn't it?
Yes. I still don't believe that people actually do that as a hobby.
I mean, they do.
It's like
so
it's
not
theoretical hobby, I think.
They do. proof.
If you're a ship in a bottle enthusiast.
If you're a ship in a bottle, let us know.
Yeah, let us know what weirds a feather. How's life?
Yeah, how's the bottle?
How's your bottle?
All right, and that's it. Those are just my 3 little
I like those comments.
right?
Yeah.
Just AC's little thoughts.
AC's little... Yeah, I like those because I feel like after we record, it's kind of like, all right, bye.
Yeah, and then like we release the episode.
So many things. I guess I share them with Christopher because now that he's editing for us, he also has lots of thoughts and feelings.
I bet he does.
And runs upstairs to tell me, and is like, I have to tell you this or else I'll forget it. But something about this. He had a lot of comments about the stork. He really likes that.
Oh yeah,
dumb.
It's not a stork.
That's right. It's an AI puppet.
Yeah.
He had a lot of comments about that puppet. So, because apparently he's a fan.
Oh, all right. Team Shoebill.
He's Team Shoebill.
Welcome.
I am not.
He texted me with a comment about how we were using his name as a placeholder for to represent the most ADHD person of all time. And we were saying pulling a Christopher.
Yes, because he is
representing
literally the most ADHD person I've met.
Same.
In a while.
Same. And I worked with children.
Yeah. It's
crazy in that brain.
I know.
He's got a lot going on.
I was watching a TikTok and they're like, ask this to your partner. And I was like, I hate these things. But then I was watching it. I don't know. I watched it anyway. But they were like, ask your partner, if you had to switch bodies or I was you and you were me.
Whoa, Freaky Friday.
Yeah, Freaky Friday. What would you be most excited about to test out? And I would say I want to test out his brain because he has one of those visual brains, and I would be so excited to test out his visual brain because we always talk about how we have a lot of communication issues, especially when we're doing a task together, because he can think with visions and pictures and I cannot. And so he's trying to verbalize what he's thinking, and I'm just like, what?
Oh, I bet that's so hard.
Oh, man. I don't know how he has any patience with me, but half the time I'm not paying attention, so he has to repeat himself. And,
yeah.
I'm off in another room, and he's like, no, get back here.
Where are you going?
So,
have him draw you out a diagram.
Yeah.
That's what Ian does for me. When he can tell my eyes have glazed over.
Yeah.
He'll start to describe something physically, and it's like, if I don't know what you're talking about in the first 5 seconds, I'll nod along.
An analogy.
But everything you're saying, I'm not paying attention. It's like when someone gives you verbal directions, but you're just going to look it up on the GPS.
Yeah.
Turn there at that street.
Oh, good.
Okay,
yeah, I'll remember that.
Got it in here.
Steel trap in here.
Yep. Locked down.
Yep.
20-step directions. Oh, I'm listening to all of these.
Don't worry. Yep.
Paying attention. Definitely not just going to fucking Google it.
Right. Thank God for Google Maps.
Thank God. All right, should we get into our segments?
Yeah.
That was our pre-segment segment.
Our pre-segment segments.
Now it's time for our segment segment.
Okay. Let's
First
roll.
One, little accomplishments.
Little accomplishments.
Little accomplishments, but big in our hearts.
Yeah.
All right. I just shared all my little comments, so why don't you go first?
Okay.
What did you accomplish?
This morning, while I was here, I finished all my notes I had to finish from last week.
Woohoo! Yeah, you did.
Yeah, it was... I've been struggling lately, this weekend in particular. So I thought I was going to finish everything yesterday, and then I ended up taking a big nap. So
you needed that big nap.
I felt really good after that big nap. But then, it's like one of those things where it's like it's not even. I felt good after, but it's still not a great nap because the whole time in the back of your head, you're like, I got to finish that thing. I got to do those things.
Yeah, it's not.
But then you
rest.
Can't bring yourself to do the thing, but you just kind of stew on it the whole time while not actually doing the thing. And if you just did the thing, it'd be fine.
Yeah, it's like you're stuck in this productivity limbo.
Yeah, I want to do the thing, but I'm too tired to do the thing, so I take a nap. But I'm upset while I'm napping
because you should be doing it.
I should be doing the thing. It won't take that long if I just do the thing, and then I can actually rest and move on from doing the thing. But I won't do the thing because I don't have the energy or the mental capacity to do the thing.
I have found that on weekends especially, whenever I tell myself, I'm going to wake up Saturday morning and I'm going to be so productive, I'm going to get all this stuff done, I inevitably don't because I've put so much pressure on myself to do it, and then I disappoint myself, which I do all the time anyways, but especially on weekends, I've noticed that I have to tell myself, you don't have to do anything today. And if I get stuck in that mode of trying to force myself to do stuff and it's not happening, I just tell myself, you know what, today's not the day. You don't have to do anything today. And I don't know if it's my PDA, but immediately after that, I'm like, you know what? I am going to do some stuff because I'm like I'm telling myself that I don't have to.
Don't do anything. And you're like, fuck you.
Fuck you. I'm going to do all my stuff.
all the things. Maybe I should try that.
Yeah, you should.
I found,
Trick
and
yourself.
I think this is just burnout, but I need like a full day. Like I need a full Saturday of not doing much.
The Sabbath, yes.
I need a Sabbath is what I need.
Yeah. Take that Sabbath.
And then once but I have a hard time because I'm like Saturday, like there's so many, I want to do chores, I want to clean, and I'm like motivated to do things, but my brain and my body are tired. So I need a Sabbath, but I feel like I can't fully relax until all the things are done. But then
but you could get things on. You could get the things done on Sunday.
I could,
because you need that rest day.
I need a rest day. I need to allow myself to have a rest day.
Yes.
It's going to be hard. Maybe I'll make that a new ADHD challenge.
Ooh, that would be good. To like force yourself
to have a rest day.
Yeah, because I find that only on those days where I've decided it is okay to rest and today you should be resting. Those are the only days I can rest. Because any other day I'm like, well, I should be doing stuff. And then none of my rest is productive.
No, it's not productive rest because you're thinking about all the things you should be doing.
Yeah, and I just feel shitty about sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
But when I give myself permission to sit on the couch,
then
I can actually enjoy it. Although then I'm like, well, now I want to do stuff.
Yeah, right. And I feel, and it's also like once I'm in the wet, I'm in the wet.
Yeah.
You know? So like once I'm in that productivity mode, I don't want to stop it and rest.
It feels good.
Feels nice.
But
yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's what I did. I finished them. Grace.
Yes.
What did you do?
I went to Staples. I'm so proud of myself for this one.
Staples?
Yep.
Is that still around?
Yeah, it is.
Where's
for all your paper needs over by the mall. Next to Burlington Coat Factory.
Mall.
Yeah, next to the main mall.
Oh, Burlington. I see. Okay.
But
that Staples has been there forever.
Yeah, it's still there. It's still standing. People still need paper, despite technology, you know? But I've been meaning to forever go make digital copies of my weird collage art. Actually, I need you to bring down your Get Your Nut drawing that I made for you.
Yeah. Remind me another day.
I will. I've been meaning to go and get like nice digital scans of them made and then like get some prints made and everything. But I've just been so scared because I don't know the rules of like how to do it and what to ask for. And I just like was feeling overwhelmed by it. But yesterday, Gracie and I went to a yard sale and I had her bring one of her drawings over to me. And I was telling her that I was so scared about not knowing the rules. And so she offered to go with me because she's done it before. So we went to Staples together. She held my hand, figuratively and literally.
That's a great little body double story.
Right? And we did it together and we figured it out. And the man there was very nice. And I felt stupid because I didn't know what I was doing, but he was very helpful. And it was really nice just like having a pal there. You know, I did all the talking, but it was just nice having a buddy there to like,
an emotional support buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel silly by myself. I had someone to kind of like make a game plan with of like, where do we go? What do we do? What do we ask for? Where are we standing? How do we get what do I want done?
That's lovely.
You know, I just felt like there were so many decisions to be made and I wasn't really sure about exactly what I wanted. And so the whole process just felt very overwhelming. I felt very Haley of I can't go to the Red Room because I'd never been there before. So
you just needed a little buddy.
Yeah, I just needed a little buddy to help me, social support. And so I did it. I did some body doubling and I was really proud of myself.
That's great.
Yeah. I still have to go pick up my copies, so we'll see if that happens. But at least I've done the scariest part.
Yeah.
Because now I've been there, so now I can go there.
Now you know the routine. You're like, hey, I made some copies and you pick up the copies.
Old news. I've been here plenty of times.
This is just my regular weekly thing of picking up my copies.
Picking up copies. This is my local hang. So yeah, I was really proud of that one. And that was a big accomplishment.
That's great.
So go me.
I am proud of you.
Thanks. Social situations are stressful, but less so with a friend. That's my song.
That's great.
All right. Oh, is it time?
It is time.
Shall we?
For the quirks.
All right.
Yes.
Let's do it. Some people call me spacey, some people call me fun, but I'm just quirky. Nice.
That was loud.
That was pretty loud.
That sounded louder than usual.
You haven't been practicing.
I haven't been practicing.
Your airflow.
I gotta, you can tell. Haven't been practicing.
Yeah.
I also feel like we haven't done quirks in a while. I'm excited.
Well, we did business with someone to start.
Right.
We don't have a song for that. So it has been a while since you've zooed.
I know. We should probably make those songs. But that's okay.
One day we will.
One day.
All right, I'm going to rattle off my 3 quirks.
I'm ready to hear them.
Then I'm doing an informative info dump, and I'll be
rattle
talking
them
about
off.
it. So.
Let's go.
All right, my quirks, I got 3. They all happened in the same day. And so I thought that was super fun and cool of me. All right, so in the same day, I, 1, sprayed myself with a faucet sprayer.
I hate that.
Yeah, because I went to put it back, just assuming it would, like, release. So I'm, like, putting it back in its holder.
Yeah.
But the button got stuck down, and so I put it back in the holder, but it was still facing me and still sprayed all over me.
And you're like, I've been hit.
Yeah. And my shirt was soaked, and Ian made fun of me. And it wasn't a daily dribble. It was different. I sprayed myself. Also on that day, I slipped on a pile of acorns cartoon style.
No.
Like it was a bunch of banana peels. I did it twice. 2 different times. Yeah.
Oh,
I was like, whoa.
This is a bad day.
Where
Was this
you're
Friday the 13th?
No, it wasn't. It was Wednesday.
Oh.
Yeah. But I was just like, it was like where you're
Wednesday the 11th.
Yes. Like where you're comically like slipping and slipping and slipping. Yeah. Like you're on roller
Like you're
skates.
on a bunch of marbles in a cartoon.
Yes.
Did you do one of the whoa?
Yeah, I did.
Whoa.
I felt like I was like about to fall for a very long time. But I didn't. I saved it. But it was very cartoonish. And then also that evening, I dropped some food on the counter. Ian's mom made this like amazing, she made like a turkey pot pie.
Ooh.
And it had like cranberry sauce in it. It was so good. I was loving it. But I was eating it, dropped some of it on the counter, didn't notice. Immediately smeared the sleeve of my favorite sweater right through it. And I was just thinking about how I need to be careful with this sweater because I love it and I just got it and I shouldn't spill anything. And I wasn't spilling on my front, but then I smeared my sleeve through it.
Oh, no.
So that sucked. So that was my little
bad day.
My little quirky day. That's just like a regular day for me. Like most days, things like that happen, you know? A lot of days, at least one of those things happens. Yeah, I'm so quirky.
You're so quirky.
Kristen, what are your quirks?
All right. Today, coming down here, I brought 4 different beverages. I couldn't decide, so I brought 4.
What you got?
I brought water. I brought coconut water.
Nice.
And then I brought iced coffee, but realized it was too cold for iced coffee, so I bought, on my way here, hot coffee. And now I'm drinking tea, so we can call that 5.
5. Yeah, you're going to want at least 2 types of water, 2 types of coffee. Minimum.
I was like, I get it. I just wanted them all. Pokemon style, you know?
Yeah.
Gotta catch them all.
And you did.
I did. Yeah. And will I drink them all? No. I'll probably drink each one halfway.
Hey.
So.
That's what they're there for.
Yeah.
Just something to sip on.
Just to sip.
Something to do.
Yeah. Sticking with the beverage theme, I have many different mugs. I feel like most people have like a giant collection of mugs.
I love a mug.
I love a good mug.
What is with that? Why?
I don't know.
They're just fun.
They're
just
mugs.
fun.
They're fun mugs. I have many different mugs, and I have an unwritten list in my head of which mugs are designated for coffee and which mugs are designated for tea, because I'm not using a tea mug for coffee and I'm not using a coffee mug for tea.
You can taste the coffee in a mug. I won't let Ian use my mugs for coffie.
Really?
So I can always taste it. Yeah.
I can't taste the coffee, but I just...
Well, you're not a super taster like me.
I am most certainly not. But it just doesn't feel right. Like
the vibes are different.
The vibes are
for the
different.
drinks. Yeah.
But I don't want to enforce my unwritten irrational rules on someone else. But when I do see them using a coffee mug for tea or a tea mug for coffee, I kind of just like sit there and just like stew on it, you know?
Don't they know the rules?
I'm like, I know I'm upset, and I understand that why I'm upset is irrational.
Yep.
And it doesn't make sense because this is my rule that I made up about mugs. There's no chart or designated thing to use.
Yeah.
Still upset.
Okay, so I was thinking about this exact issue about how we make up rules because last Bagel Bite, you and I were talking about like miscommunications of like not picking up on social rules or not knowing that certain sentences are meant to imply certain meanings.
Yes.
And I was just thinking about how like we also have lots of rules, but I feel like for our rules, to me, I feel like I am so rigid about this rule and I get mad about people not following it because to me, it feels like common sense.
Yes.
And it feels like this is the logical right way to do this.
Like, of course, you can see by the shape and taper of this mug, it's for tea.
Exactly. You can tell by this plate size and the rim that this is a dessert plate.
Exactly.
Why would anyone use any other type of plate, you fool? And to me, it's just like, it's very different from like an allistic sense of social rules because they're all rules that they've decided of this is how we communicate. This is what means this means this.
Right.
For our rules, it's like, to us, our brain has decided this is the best, most efficient, most logical way to do this. And so why would anyone do it otherwise?
Right. And
I shouldn't even have to say which sponge is used for what. You should just know by looking at them.
Obviously. I think working in medicine has gotten me out of this habit of making up rules and then just expecting everybody to follow them because it's common sense.
Yeah.
Because things that you think are common sense are not common sense to other people.
Yes.
And
because they don't have any common sense.
No, maybe one day I'll share some stories, but I don't think any of these are appropriate for today's conversation.
Okay.
But sometimes I'll get a patient phone call and I'm like, wow, I just like missed the mark explaining that one, where you're like, this makes perfect sense in my mind.
Yep.
And then they explain what they've been doing and you're like, oh, no.
Huge miscommunication.
No. Huge miscommunication.
Yeah, that happens to me all the time. It's in my mind, it's so clear.
Yeah.
Just like with the mugs thing. I do the same thing.
Yes.
Judging someone for not making the same decision I made.
Right. And I don't want to judge them because I feel like as a provider, it's my job to convey all that information because, I'm the one who went into medicine. But at the same time, sometimes I feel like there's certain things that just need to be explained. But I'm always proven wrong. So
yeah.
Anyway, on to my third quirk.
All right.
I am too scared and emotionally upset by scary movies. But I do think that like the plot is always interesting. Like, ooh, it's like haunted or, there's like a scary murderer or some sort of like psychological twister. But I don't want to go through. See, it's like a really good, like creative, unique plot. But I don't want to go through. I don't want to watch it because I get scared.
Yeah.
So what I do is Christopher will watch it because he loves scary movies. He watches them and then I have him explain the movie to me scene by scene, it's usually like instead of explaining like scene A, B, C, it's like explaining A, C. I forgot about B, B again, C, D, Z. Oh, but wait.
G.
We get there.
Yeah.
And it's very good because then I get to like know the plot and experience the movie without all like the emotional turmoil that comes with it.
Yeah.
And I really like that.
I think that's a good strategy.
Yeah.
I want to do that for you. I want to explain movies to you.
You want to explain movies?
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe for like a Patreon thing, you and Christopher could explain a scary movie to me.
I don't think he and I should do it together.
Okay. We'll just go back and forth between the two of you.
Maybe we could take
you
turns.
Each pick a movie and you can each explain it to me.
Okay.
And then I get to ruin it like I usually do.
Perfect.
Yay.
You're great at that.
Yes.
I do what you just described, but I do it with what you dubbed anxiety movies, which I think is accurate. So movies about like people climbing somewhere and then being stuck. Like that movie about the two women who climb up a fucking cell phone tower for some reason and then they're stuck at the top. Can't watch it. So anxious the whole time, uncomfortable.
It's too anxiety provoking.
But I'm curious about it for some reason. I want to know the plot. So I'll watch TikToks of people breaking down the scenes and like ruining the end because I just want to know what happens, but I don't want to actually watch it. And same with shark movies. I know it'll stop me from ever going in water ever again if I watched like a scary, other than Jaws, like a stressful, like you're stranded and there's a big shark out there. Like I'm very fascinated by the concept. Same with like being in caves and like sharks are in the cave, water cave or whatever. But I can't actually watch it. Water cave sharks coming this fall. But I want to hear about the plot.
Yeah, I want to hear the plot.
Can't get myself
detail,
to sit through it.
But I don't want to like sit through and go through the anxiety.
Yeah.
The 125 hours.
127 hours.
Have 120
2 hours off. Yeah, those stressful drawn out situations where someone is stuck somewhere.
Right.
Don't want to watch it, intrigued by the concept.
Right. Survival movies where it's like a natural disaster or something. There's a lot of like planning, coordination. I don't know. I don't think I'm in a good mental state to watch these anxiety movies.
Yeah, I think that's a healthy choice.
Because I think they're always based in some sort of reality.
That's how they get you.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
You're so quirky.
Yeah, thank you. That's it. Those are my quirks.
All right. Those were good ones.
So today, Instead of hobby collectors, we've been doing this thing.
Still don't have a fucking
We don't have a
song
fucking song. We're going to work on it. We've got
no.
plenty of time, except for right now.
where we don't have any time.
Where we have no time right now, but after this, we'll have plenty of time to sit and to noodle on it.
Yep.
And come up with a creative song.
And we'll just keep saying this every episode.
No, we're gonna figure it out
we've
eventually.
forgotten
No, we're gonna figure it out one day.
After this. After we
this,
record.
We're gonna sit down
today.
You, me, and our computers.
Good.
And we're gonna
Brainstorm
hash this
session.
out. Brainstorm.
Bring your brains.
We're gonna bring my kazoo.
Yep.
We're gonna find maybe another instrument.
Spoons.
Spoons. Tambourines.
Maracas, triangle.
Oh, I'd be down for a little triangle action.
I saw a podcast clip on TikTok of these two people who were playing this game where you both say a word, like any word at the same time. And you say 1, 2, 3, and then you have to say what your two words have in common. And you keep doing that. You keep trying to say what your two words have in common until you get to the same word. And I was thinking about how long that would take us.
Oh, no.
And how funny it might be to try one day.
One day. Not today. We'd be here all day.
Maybe for
important
Patreon.
things to info dump about because this is informative info dump. Bip, 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 bip.
There's our song.
That's not our song because
All
we
right.
use that for up to date.
You're right. Up to date. But that's not this. Because
That's
this
not
is
this.
informative info dump.
Dun dun.
Boom, boom. We'll get there.
Anyway, Grace, you've provided us with a lovely informative info dump.
Yep.
What is your subject?
I am ready to dump on you all.
Dump it on me.
I will dump on you. All right, this episode, I've decided to do an informative info dump about Halloween.
Woo! Or should I say, boo?
Woo!
Excited ghost.
This is scary. For some reason, I've always had it in my head that, like, other countries also celebrate Halloween. Like, I just thought of
Is it just us?
It's just us. Yeah. It pretty much is. Well, it started as a Celtic tradition.
Sure.
But what has become Halloween is like a
We've
purely,
Americanized it. Like,
yeah, essentially, is a purely American holiday.
Is it really?
Yes.
What about the UK?
No, they don't do it.
They don't do Halloween?
Australia doesn't. For some reason, I thought that Australia
thought this
did.
was like...
They don't know about Halloween. I was talking to someone. It definitely wasn't
Get
Enya.
the
It was
fuck
someone
out.
else. But they
Get the fuck out.
didn't know like about Halloween and thought that
They don't
it was
do
like
jack-o'-lanterns?
they thought it was like Day of the Dead. I'm like, no, it's different.
Which is important.
Yes, Dia de los Muertos,
But not
Halloween.
not Halloween.
So I thought I'd do a little rundown of where Halloween came from, its origins, and like
And how the Americans bastardized it.
well, it's essentially like Christianity bastardized Celtic.
Like all the
holiday.
holidays.
Yeah, exactly. Just taking all the fun, spooky stuff out of it and made it American. Okay, so
Dump it.
let me dump. All right, so Halloween's origins date back to the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain. The Celtics who lived 2,000 years ago, mostly in the area that is now Ireland, the UK, and northern France, celebrated their new year on November 1st.
Oh.
So this day marked the end of summer and the harvest and the beginning of dark, cold winter,
Yes.
a time of year that was often associated with human death. Isn't that fun?
They started their year off with death.
Yeah,
All right. Well, I guess you could only go up from there. So it's like, nice. Keep those expectations
exactly.
low.
You don't want to end on death. You
Right.
want to start it with death and work your
Start
way
with
up.
death.
Yeah.
Work your way up.
End with right before death.
The circle of life and
As a
death.
circle of life and death. Right. So Celts believed that on the night before the new year, the boundary between the worlds of the living and the dead became blurred.
Ooh.
On the night of October 31st, they celebrated Samhain, when it was believed that the ghosts of the dead returned to Earth. Halloween is on October 31st, by the way. I should have said that. Once again, I forget that not everyone has Halloween.
Well,
I
what
just
about
assumed.
all the, like...
Am I blowing your mind right now with this?
My mind, because
right?
there's so many, like...
We're so American-centric that I just assumed everyone else had it, which
I
is
always
stupid.
try to, like, not be, and then I'm always... Things like this, like, I'm just like, how could you be so stupid, Kristen? Not everybody celebrates Halloween.
But other things like Christmas are celebrated in a bunch of other countries, so I just,
Yeah,
for
but
some reason, I just assumed. I don't know why.
I don't know either.
Stupid Americans!
Stupid.
All right.
Like, I knew about Thanksgiving. Like, that's, like...
Yeah, obviously.
Obviously, like, American.
Same with like 4th of July.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not like, what?
England doesn't celebrate 4th of July.
Yeah. But Halloween, I don't know why. I just thought it's such a fun holiday.
It is a fun holiday.
That like you think for like spooky fun reasons, other countries would be like, hey, we want to have a spooky fun holiday. So like Australia doesn't have a spooky holiday. Isn't that sad?
What?
Same with the UK. Does Canada celebrate Halloween?
I don't know.
Get back to us, Canadians.
Reach out.
Probably not.
And if you're from other countries.
Yes.
Do you have a spooky holiday? What is it? Tell us about it.
Yes, tell us. Yeah, we have listeners from a lot of
us.
different countries, so I don't want to leave you out. I'm sure you also don't celebrate Halloween, unless you're in Ireland.
Who's in Estonia? Do you celebrate? Is there a Halloween in Estonia?
Yeah.
I forget her name. She wrote into us.
Oh. I don't remember.
Okay.
We're not going to remember right now.
No.
But
I have no
and
memory.
she was Canadian, so she can answer our Canadian question and our Estonian question.
It's a 2 for 1.
So let us know. Wherever you live in the world, besides America, listeners, please tell us if you have any fun spooky holidays. I hope you do.
Same.
I like a scary holiday. All right. In addition to causing trouble and damaging crops, Celts thought that the presence of otherworldly spirits made it easier for the Druids or Celtic priests to make predictions about the future.
Ooh.
For a people dependent on the volatile natural world, these prophecies were an important source of comfort during the long, dark winter. So to commemorate the event, Druids built huge sacred bonfires where the people gathered to burn crops and animals as sacrifices to the Celtic deities.
Oh.
Burning animals.
Yeah. I hope they killed them first.
I know. That's rough. During the celebration, the Celts wore costumes, typically consisting of animal heads and skins, and attempted to tell each other's fortunes. I like that phrasing, attempted to tell. You will become very wealthy.
Oh, you are going to have breakfast tomorrow.
All right, so jumping a few centuries ahead, and you will see Christianity spreading all throughout Europe. Oh, yay. Oh, woo. Yay, spread that Christianity far and wide. The old pagan rituals were appropriated by the new monotheism, and the magical elements were turned into divine signs and stories of God's miracles. They basically took this like magical holiday and just were like, but what if it was all God instead? And what if we worshipped a man in the sky?
But here's my question, or maybe you're going to answer this. I can see how Easter and Christmas were like taken over by Christianity.
Yeah.
How is Halloween? I don't see it.
Well, I'll get there.
Okay.
I will answer this
that's
question
what
for you.
That's what I guess I...
They took it and then they ruined it. And
Okay.
they took all the fun, creepy stuff out of it and made it like family friendly. I'll get there.
Okay.
So by the 8th century of the current era, Pope Gregory III had designated November 1st as a time to honor all the saints, both known and unknown. The festivity was officially named All Saints' Day, also called All Hallows' Day, Hallowmas, or All Hallowmas, from the Old English Al Hallowmesse. That's probably not right.
You got it.
Translating,
Looks right.
sounds right. Translating literally to the Day of All the Saints.
Okay.
Yeah. So the celebration of All Saints' Day begins on the evening of October 31st, and as such, that night is also known as All Hallows' Eve. Eventually, that morphed into the word Halloween.
I see. It's all making sense now.
Right? All coming together.
Okay. All right.
All right. Jump ahead a few more centuries.
Sure.
Straight into ye old colonial times. A fun and prosperous time in America where everyone was free and everyone thrived and no one was being brutalized and murdered. And it was just all coming together at a Thanksgiving table and holding hands.
Land of the free.
Oh, yeah.
Except for the slaves.
Yeah, if you're a white man, it's the land of the free. England had parted ways with the church, and the celebration of Halloween was limited in the colonies due to Protestantism's rejection of many Catholic festivities.
Ah.
But in time, as more immigrants poured into the New World, quote unquote, traditions mixed with several Native American rites, and eventually a vague image of what would become American Halloween was sketched. Initially, there were some minor customs here and there that would return year after year, which included sharing ghost stories, telling each other's fortunes, celebrating harvest, and the fun of pranks and mischief. I didn't realize there was so much telling each other's fortunes involved in Halloween.
I think we should tell each other's fortunes.
I think we should do fortunes. Bring that back.
Yeah, we should do it at the end of the episode.
It seems like it was very based. Halloween had a lot of,
fortune telling.
Yeah, a lot of fortune telling. Or Samhain did. So then in the second half of the 19th century, millions of Irish immigrants fleeing the potato famine, that was my great-grandmother,
That was my family as well.
arrived on the shores of America. Due to their Celtic heritage and particularly drawn to Halloween celebrations, it was mostly them who helped spread the festivity throughout the country. By the time the Irish finished their exodus, Halloween had become a nationwide holiday. So it was thanks to the Irish that we have Halloween for what it is.
Thank you, Irish.
So essentially, like, the Catholics took it and turned it into All Saints' Day, and then the Irish kind of like took it back, it sounds like.
And then the Protestants were like, nah.
Well, I think the Protestants said nah when it had morphed into like this
All Saints
Catholic,
Day.
All Saints
All
Day
the Catholic
holiday.
saints.
And so the Protestants said no, but then the Irish came over and then they kind of like took it back.
They were like, yes to the saints.
Yes. No to the Catholicism. Yes to the
Let's
saints.
tell each other's fortunes.
Yes. They said yes to fortunes. And bonfires and wearing animal
And
heads.
mischief.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, mischief. All right. So borrowing from European traditions, Americans began to dress up in costumes and go house to house asking for food or money, a practice that eventually became today's trick-or-treat tradition.
Ah.
And I thought this was a fun little fact. Young women believed that on Halloween, they could divine the name or appearance of their future husband by doing tricks with yarn, apple parings, which is just apple carvings, or mirrors. So they were trying to like figure out the name or appearance of their future husband on Halloween.
That's
doing yarn tricks.
Depressing.
Yeah.
You know what we had in middle school? Remember MASH?
I do remember MASH.
I guess it's similar.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Minus the apples.
We were just like little witches. And minus the yarn. Should have incorporated more yarn.
Yeah, we should have had more yarn.
Yeah.
Would have been more accurate.
Yeah. So then in the late 1800s, there was a move in America to mold Halloween into a holiday more about community and neighborly get-togethers than about ghosts, pranks, and witchcraft. So here's where we truly Americanize it and take all the spooky, fun Celtic stuff out of it. And we're like, but what if we made it like a nuclear family event?
Yep.
So at the turn of the century, Halloween parties for both children and adults became the most common way to celebrate the day. Parties focused on games, foods of the season, and festive costumes. Parents were encouraged by newspapers and community leaders to take anything frightening or grotesque out of the Halloween celebrations. Because of these efforts, Halloween lost most of its superstitious and religious overtones by the beginning of the 20th century.
Oh.
So there's the answer to your question, right?
Yeah.
Womp womp. So it was like, it was a Celtic celebration to kind of bring in or celebrate, I guess, the new year or prepare fortune-wise for
prepare for death.
The new year. Yeah, prepare for the long, cold winter.
And death.
Yes, and the inevitable death that comes with the dark night of winter. Was taken by the church and turned into a church thing.
All Saints Day.
Yep. Was taken back by the Irish and then was essentially like toned down by American sensibility.
And those who aren't American, here's a brief rundown of Halloween. The day before, probably like on like the 28th, you realize, shoot, I gotta get my kids costumes. So you go to Spirit Halloween, which is a pop-up store everywhere. You spend about $200 on costumes and candy, and then you shuttle your kid into the nicer neighborhoods so you can walk around safely without people causing mischief. And then you let your kids go door to door begging for candy, and they get that candy, and then you bring it back, and they eat half of it. They get a stomach ache, and then they crash, and then you eat all their leftover candy.
My mom used to sneak into our bedrooms at night after Halloween and steal pieces of candy out of mine and Lily's Halloween bags. Like, she would just take candy out of it.
Oh, my
not to eat, to throw it away, because she's a nutritionist.
To throw it away?
Yeah, not
Oh, man.
It'd be one thing if she was taking it for herself. I'd be like, all right, I get that. I would do that as a parent. No, she would just take it and throw it away.
My mom, well, one, we had to give her all the Almond Joys. That was the deal.
I love Almond Joy.
I'm not a big Almond Joy fan. I like a Mounds better. I don't want that almond in there.
Yeah, nothing healthy.
It's like it ruins the rest of the candy bar because it's too crunchy.
You're right.
It's like a drastic change. Like if they had a less crunchier almond, it would be fine. Also, do you say almond or almond?
Almond. 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 That's how I say it.
Almond.
Almond.
I think I say almond.
Almond? That's nothing.
It's almond. What am I saying?
You're saying almond.
Amen.
Amen.
Almond.
Jake would never eat his Halloween candy for some reason. He was just like one of those kids who just didn't care about candy. I think because they were allowed so much candy and so many sweet treats over at Jake and Elena's house. Jake,
He always
Elena's
had a
brother.
hoard.
Yes, he always had a huge bag and he wouldn't eat it and he would just leave it there all year. And whenever I would go over, I would eat his stale Halloween candy. He'd be like, I don't really care about it. I'd be like, I do.
I think my dad, he doesn't like sweet treats, but my mom does. So I think she would slowly just eat all of our candy over time.
I love a sweet treat.
Because we were allowed like 2 pieces or something a day. And then it like slowly like, and we were like too dumb to notice that like, wow, this candy bowl is getting really low. Like we must be eating all our candy. No, it was just my mom eating like fistfuls.
Sneaky Teresa.
Which is fair.
Yeah.
I mean, that's her right.
As she should.
I feel like as a parent, you have to do that.
Yeah, you have to go around and do trick-or-treating with them. Although I love trick-or-treating and I would take a child trick-or-treating. I think it's fun.
I think my brother does. They do, because they live in the middle of nowhere. So they do trunk or treat where everybody, they like meet in an empty lot in a field.
Yeah, they did that in Oregon too.
And you decorate your truck or car or something and you go around. It's very cute for the kids.
That's cute. We lived in the perfect neighborhood for trick-or-treating
We
growing
did.
up.
Well, now our old neighborhood is the one that people, because of like, it used to be like, it's the neighborhood everybody shuttles their kids into.
Yep. It's a popular one.
I know.
I like passing out candy for Halloween also.
I'm
probably going to do it this
We live
year.
on a busier street. I don't think we get a lot of kids. But we'll see.
I'm pretty sure I saw another fact that said that 1/4 of all candy bought in America is bought on Halloween or around right before Halloween.
I think the 2 best days to go to CVS are November 1st and
February 15th.
Yep.
Yep.
Because that's when all the candy's on sale.
Hell yeah.
My roommate in grad school and I we would like mark February 15th on our calendars and go to CVS together and just get all like the chocolate heart boxes and stuff.
That's the real Galentine's Day.
Yeah. We're like, woo, discount candy at CVS. Yeah.
All right. I had one more little Halloween note
fact
about trick or treat. I didn't write it down, but I'm doing this from memory that I think somewhere around, like the late 1800s when they were doing Halloween, but it's not the Halloween we have today. The trick part became a big problem. There was a lot of like vandalism and a lot of
I think we should bring
crime
that back.
happening. Bring back crime. Not enough crime. Not enough
crime
vandalism.
going on Halloween. So
that's kind of why they started doing the more wholesome trick or treat thing. They were hoping that if they gave the vandals treats, then they wouldn't get a trick. That's why you say trick or treat. Please don't vandalize my house.
Yeah, don't vandalize my house. Here's some candy.
Exactly. And that was my informative info dump.
Lovely.
Yeah.
All right. Now that Lucy stopped barking, we can move on with our day and get to alternative segments. Beep, 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 Woo! Alternative segments.
All right. On this week's alternative segments, we're doing some more ADHD blind items.
It's blind.
I can't see. I had originally planned for this segment to be autistic blind items.
Yeah.
Because I realize we haven't really talked about autistic celebrities, but there aren't a lot of them that are like openly autistic, even though I could identify who I think is
There's
autistic.
A lot of suspicion, but not a lot of... And also, like, that is a journey someone has to go on their own, and we don't want to, like, say, armchair diagnose someone.
Yeah, we wouldn't want to say that, like, for example, Meryl Streep is autistic, we wouldn't want to come out and say that because that's her own journey for her to take. But the few celebrities that are openly autistic, you would not be able to guess any of them.
Oh, okay.
And I
think I have a really hard time guessing just celebrities.
Regular mainstream celebrities. So if I did, like, Anthony Hopkins, you're never going to fucking guess that.
Unless you went, I would have got it. No,
right.
I wouldn't have. No.
I was going to say, would you?
No. I would not have gotten that hint.
Okay.
But it would have been a good one.
Quid pro quo, please. Yeah. So we're both going to do an ADHD blind item, and we're going to guess, and you can guess along with us.
All right.
All right. Why don't you do yours first?
I can do mine first. Okay. I wrote down mine on my phone. I think once again, I think you're going to get it right away.
Probably. I've read a lot of lists of which celebrities have ADHD.
You may not get it on the first guess, but I think you're going to get it on the second one.
Okay. Lay it on me.
Okay. Clue number 1.
Yeah.
At the time, it was illegal for this person to be born.
I don't know.
That was a vague clue.
I don't know what you mean by that. Is it illegal for anyone to be born?
Well,
say more.
Okay. It was a very big controversy when this person replaced the main host of a show. Oh, shoot. If you're not going to get it, I don't have a third clue.
You don't? Those are your only 2 clues?
I thought you were going to get it.
Oh, do you have anything about like their ADHD journey or anything?
Yeah, I have a whole big write-up I was going to talk to you about, but
okay.
I'm just trying to make you guess this person.
Oh, okay.
Because I feel like there's like certain things.
Drew Carey.
No.
Will Smith.
No.
Now I'm just going through celebrities in my mind who I know have ADHD. It was what kind of show?
Comedy, but also news.
Oh. The Daily Show? Trevor Noah?
Yeah.
Oh.
You got it.
I got it.
Yeah.
All right.
So Trevor Noah, illegal for him to be born. So Trevor Noah grew up in South Africa during the apartheid, and his mother was black and his father was white. So being in the apartheid, that was illegal. So he was like literally not allowed to be born. And
so like they weren't allowed to procreate. I was like picturing like in the hospital where they're like, no, not allowed to give birth to this baby.
Yeah. Put it back in.
Very confused.
He wrote a book called Born a Crime, which talks more about this, but basically his grandmother who raised him would like hide him from the police and everything, and he wasn't allowed to talk or be near his father at the time, and it sounded like a really like traumatic upbringing.
Jeez.
And I have a couple quotes from an article that I'm gonna paraphrase. He growing up in South Africa during the apartheid, he faced numerous obstacles, including poverty and violence, and he accredits his ADHD as a factor in his ability to persevere and succeed during this time. He originally started his comedic career in South Africa. He was on this thing called The Amazing Date, which was a dating show, which he hosted. He also was in a soap opera. He did multiple stand-ups. And then in 2015 to 2022, Jon Stewart stepped down from The Daily Show, and he replaced him, which was like a huge controversy, right? But I think he did a really good job. And even though after Jon Stewart left, the show kind of like lost viewers, it ended up being like the #1 comedic show among millennials.
Oh.
And Trevor Noah says he's learned to embrace his unique strength and ability which are often associated with ADHD, such as his ability to think creatively and adapt to changing situations quickly. He has learned to not let his ADHD hold him back. And he talks about in this interview a lot about how he set up like certain routines for him. And he's now understands like his impulsivity and his forgetfulness are traits of ADHD rather than him just being a bad person.
Aww.
And so he's really kind of grown in his diagnosis, and medication have really helped him kind of succeed in his career.
That's cool.
And so even though he's no longer a host on The Daily Show, he continues to tour with his comedy show. And most recently, he announced that he will be releasing a podcast on Spotify where he interviews influential and famous people.
Oh.
I tried to look up the podcast. It's not out yet.
Oh,
they just announced it in June.
Okay. Sounds pretty good.
Maybe it's out now, but I couldn't find it. So.
Okay.
All
right.
Yeah.
That was a good one. Sounds like he's a good advocate for ADHD.
Clues weren't great.
Well, I think you were so worried about it being so obvious.
Well, I think if I said South Africa or Johannesburg, it would have been like a red flag. So then, like, what do I do?
I don't know if it's a red flag.
Well, not a red flag, but it would have been like a really obvious clue. Yes. It's hard to write these clues.
I know.
You're too good at this, so I have to make it super vague, and then I feel bad when you don't get it.
Hey, I still got it.
Stop being so good at your job.
He actually was not on my mental list of celebrities with ADHD. I guess I have, now that you say that, I have seen him on a list, but he wasn't one of the primary people in my brain that I was thinking of. That was a good choice.
Yeah.
You stumped me.
I saw him live once. He's very funny.
He is funny.
He's a funny guy. He seems sweet, like a sweet man.
Sweet man. All right, yeah.
All
It's
right.
cool that he is so open about his ADHD.
Yeah.
My celebrity, I couldn't find a lot from her talking about her ADHD,
It's a lady.
but I feel like I've already done some celebrities who talked more about their ADHD, and now I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel a bit more.
Yeah, scrape it.
But I'm hoping you will be able to guess this one.
Okay, me too.
I wrote a lot more detailed clues because I know you need them.
I need more details.
You're going to get them.
I'm glad you have this confidence in me.
I have some at the bottom where I'm like, all right, if she's still not getting it now, here's a more obvious one, and here's another more obvious one, and we'll kind of move that way. All right, here is my blind item. All right, you may never guess it with the intensity and focus she puts out when performing. That was from an article. But this Canadian-born pop punk star has struggled with...
Avril Lavigne.
Yes!
Yay!
Damn it!
Pop punk, Canadian. Got it.
Gave it away too fast?
No, it's perfect.
Oh. She struggled with ADHD ever since she was a kid. With the help of her parents, she managed to overcome her struggles and make the most of her recognizable talents. All right, I'm going to read the rest of my clues.
Yeah, I want to hear the rest.
Wrote them. In 2002, when she was only 17, the Canadian singer's debut album wowed the world. Her first two singles both spent half of the year on the Billboard Hot 100, and the album remains...
Skater boy. Okay.
All right. The album remains one of the 20 best-selling albums of the 21st century. Can you believe that?
Wait,
Avril Lavigne,
Avril Lavigne?
17 years old.
20th century?
21st,
More than your girl
21st century.
Celine?
Yeah, one of the 20 best-selling albums of the 21st
We've
century.
had Britney Spears. We've had NSYNC. We've had Nirvana.
You're giving...
She's on the same list as Nirvana?
You think that NSYNC should be on the 20 best-selling albums of the 21st century? I guess best-selling. It's not about quality.
It's not about quality.
Who's
It's about
buying them.
selling.
Yeah. Yeah, you would think, I don't know. I mean, they might be on there too, but Avril is also on there, along with probably like
That
Michael
blows my
Jackson
mind. Yeah.
and whatnot.
That blows my mind.
Right? Good for her. I'm proud
Good
of
for
her.
her, yeah.
17 years old.
Goddamn.
Her snarky attitude, grungy look, and alternative-inspired sound was a potent combination that elevated her album above the rest of the pop pack. She's not like other girls.
Yeah, she wears a tie.
Yeah, a loose tie.
A loose tie.
All right, my last thing. Oh, rarely seen without a baggy pair of jeans, a heavy kohl eyeliner, and a loose tie around her neck, she co-wrote her own songs with lyrics about skateboarding and getting fired from a chicken shop. And then my last clue, if you still hadn't gotten it, was going to be there's a conspiracy about her that she died and was replaced by a clone.
Oh, yeah.
I figured
That's
that would
really
give it away.
funny. Oh, we should do a whole episode on like fringe conspiracy theories,
Yeah.
starting with the classically known Shoebill AI puppet.
Yes. The global conspiracy about the Shoebill that you have started.
I'm starting it. That was a good one. I didn't know she was ADHD.
You got it so fast. I didn't know you would get it by Canadian born.
I don't know why I know that
underestimated you.
fact.
I don't know.
I like to
Were
keep
you an
tabs
Avril
on.
fan?
I
I loved Avril. I loved that album, Let Go.
did not. I enjoyed her casually.
Okay. Easy listening.
Easy listening.
Yeah.
Like I liked her songs. They come on. I'm like, yeah, this is a banger. But
a
I'm
bop.
not. I am not wearing baggy pants with a loosely fitting tie.
I didn't either, but I think I kind of wish I could. Like, I kind of was like, I wish I could have this style.
Who's stopping you? The man?
Yeah, the man,
The
myself,
man?
probably my mom would be like, no, you're not
Yeah.
getting that. You're not
I don't.
wearing
Yeah,
that.
I don't know if I came out with a loose fitting tie. I think Teresa would be like, "Oh my god,
Is that your father's tie?
so you don't ruin it. It's his
Put that
only
back.
tie."
Yeah. Go put your Aeropostale back on.
I can't afford to buy your father more ties.
Not in
okay.
the budget.
It's not in the budget. He's got one. Matches everything.
My dad has an embarrassing sunflower tie that he wears
I
to
love
events.
that sunflower tie. He wears it with a bright yellow shirt, and it looks lovely. It's very Steve.
It's very Steve.
It's very Steve.
All right, and that
And-
was our alternative
segment.
segment.
Wow!
Alternative.
Statements! It was weak.
That was weak.
That was weak. But we have to move on.
Yes, because we need sustenance. And that's why we're hitting the road to
Hitting the
Fine.
tracks.
hitting the road tracks. And we're we smell some pizza in the distance. We're hungry little guys.
Hungry little guys.
What's that I smell in the air? Is it a pizza shop in the distance?
It could be.
Let's gallop on over there.
Clip, clop, clip, clop.
They got any pizza.
See if they're there. Because
whenever we do this, I always think of Ian's second set of interviews where we were doing this, and he's like, "What are you guys doing?"
I forgot. Wasn't listening.
You don't get it. You don't get our art.
But what we're trying to say is that it's time for Pizza Secrets.
Yeah, it is.
And we've got a juicy one for you. But first,
a shared pizza secret.
A shared pizza secret from 2 different point of views.
Yep.
Beautiful storytelling.
All right, let's do that song.
Pizza secrets, tell me your secrets. Pizza secrets.
Pizza secrets.
Oh, yeah. All right, Kristen, you thought of this joint pizza secret.
I thought this was a good one. And I was waiting. I don't know why I was waiting to tell this, but I think we need to now.
I think I was waiting to see if we were going to have Haley back on the show. But I think, first of all, Haley, I feel like, has plenty of pizza secrets that she can tell if she comes back.
So many pizza secrets.
And I think it's one that deserves to be told. So I think we're just going to tell it now.
I think so. This is a story
all about how?
About Grace and our good friend Haley, who's been on the show, and junior prom.
Yes.
So out of our, we had a pretty big friend group. And I think out of our friend group, I would say you and Haley were probably the most popular. Or associated with the popular kids.
Yes, thank you.
I would say.
I feel weird when people say I was popular. I'm like, I wasn't.
I think you associated with the popular kids more. And I think I was on the opposite end of that spectrum where I associated with, we were weird, in-betweens, I would say.
Yeah, I would say we were in-betweens.
And I think you were, if we had a popularity number chart.
Yeah.
Range. You'd be the upper middle class of popularity, and I would be the lower middle class of popularity.
Yeah, but I also feel like it wasn't like you were bullied. You just weren't as known.
Weren't as known, and I think kind of apathetic to. I was just on my own adventure.
You were just unaware. You just weren't really interested in social dynamics.
I think I would be for I would hyper focus on social dynamics, and then I would lose interest. Be you know what? I don't really like these people at all.
Yeah.
So I stuck to our friend group, but you guys were socialites, and
I guess
compared to me,
I think it was just because we played soccer.
I think
and more popular kids played soccer,
right?
Not
a lot of popular people played field hockey.
Yeah. Well, for a reason.
And so it was our junior prom. And we were all going to sleep over at our friend's house, right?
Yep.
And their parents were out of town, right?
Yeah, I think so. But our friend group, I would say, is kind of we were all kind of dorky in high school in the sense that we weren't really drinking, we weren't partying, we weren't doing any mischief, really. We were
good kids.
We were good kids.
That's what I tell my mom. And she's like, sure you were. And I was like, what?
We legitimately were.
We didn't do anything.
This junior prom fiasco was the first and biggest time where I truly did something that was naughty.
The first party I was invited to was with the theater kids, and I was the DD.
So cool.
That's the level we're talking about.
Yeah.
And
so Haley and I were the biggest troublemakers of our friend group, but that means nothing.
So it really doesn't. So you guys, the plan was to all, after junior prom, it's not even senior prom, junior prom, it was in the school cafeteria. It was
in the cafeteria. Yep. Super cool.
They didn't want to damage the gym floor, right?
Yeah.
So they're you can go to the cafeteria. Yeah. You're not worth it. And
we'll push the tables to the side.
Right. So after junior prom, we all go to our friend's house except for you two. You came back, and then you left to go to a different party.
Yeah, the whole time you guys were making this plan to go sleep at Laura's after junior prom, and we were going to watch movies and have a sleepover. And I was like, first of all, Laura has a bunch of cats. I'm very allergic to cats, so I don't want to do that.
She had one cat.
She had multiple cats.
She had one cat.
Well, it felt like multiple with how much hair was in there.
It was a lot of fur.
Yeah, exactly. And also, the last time I slept at Laura's was the sleepover incident that Haley and I also had at the Donovan's house.
Oh, that's right.
Where we tore Laura's room apart in first grade and then asked Tony for bread in the night.
That's right.
So
monsters.
Yeah, I think I maybe just was having flashbacks of
the last time I slept at Laura's, it didn't go well.
Right. So we were all supposed to sleep at our friend's at Laura's.
Yep. But I had a boyfriend during junior prom. Ooh.
So popular.
Totally. Only popular kids have boyfriends. But he kind of had a more popular friend group.
He was very popular.
Right? Because soccer. It was soccer boys. It was just
soccer boys.
When we say popular, it's not like your classic American high school film where it's like the Mean Girls, like in Mean Girls, where you have like this one clique and then, there's
everybody
like this
else.
social dynamic. Yeah, it felt like there were a bunch of people that were friends that all played soccer, and some of them were cool and drank. And one of them was having a party at his camp after junior prom, and so Haley and I were invited. And like the naughty little guys that we are, we decided to skip Laura's sleepover and instead go to this party at Danny Gribben's camp and lie to our parents and say that we were really sleeping at Laura's, which is a great high school plan.
High school
Classic high school shenanigans.
Yeah, exactly. People do this all the time.
Yeah.
Except not everybody has your mom for a mom.
No.
So I go over to our friend Laura's. We have a little movie night. There's popcorn. We're like, I can't believe Grace and Haley went to that party with all the cool kids. Like, that's cool, but we'll be here.
In our jams.
And I think we were texting you, too. So it wasn't like you were, like, lost in the woods or anything.
No, it was just it was Danny's camp on Sebago.
It was
which was
safe
like,
situation.
It was like 30 minutes from Portland. Yeah, it was a safe situation.
Drinking.
Yeah, minus the underage drinking.
Right. So you're there. We sleep over. Successful sleepover at Laura's. It's the next day.
Well, you skipped the part where Haley had to be picked up in the middle of the night.
Oh,
right?
No.
So Haley and I go and sleep at Danny's. I felt confident about it. I was like, fuck it. Let's just do it. So we went there. We got drunk. Then around like midnight, Haley starts panicking that we're going to get in trouble and that she made a bad choice. And so she called, you and Vanessa to come and pick her up?
It wasn't me.
Oh, it was Vanessa.
I was dead asleep.
She called, oh yeah, that makes
Vanessa's
sense.
Vanessa's a good person, so she probably got the call. Reliable out of the...
So she called Vanessa to come pick her up and got picked up at like 1 a.m. from this party, which is like not safe. So if anything, I made the safer choice by sleeping over there.
Right.
And not panicking and getting picked up at 1 a.m.
Well, I mean, we were all dead sober.
Yes.
We had like Pepsi.
Yeah. And Haley and I were very drunk. I think any time I drank in high school, which was like 3 times, I threw up like every single time.
Nice.
I'm very sensitive to alcohol.
You are.
Yeah, which is why I don't really drink. So we were both very drunk, but we probably had like 2 drinks.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then she comes back to Laura's, right?
Yeah, she came back and slept over.
How come we left you there?
Because I was like, no, I'm staying here. I don't know, sleeping over.
I would have dragged you out if I was woken up. I would have been like, if we're getting her, we're getting you.
Well, you did.
But I didn't because I was probably sleeping soundly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like the good little girl you are.
I am. Okay, so Haley's back at Laura's. Everybody's at Laura's except for you.
Yep.
You are at the party still.
I'm standing my ground.
Standing your ground.
Throwing up in Danny's bathroom.
Yep.
Passing out on the bed.
Oh, God.
Classic junior prom night.
So it's like 9 a.m. the next day after we were up like most of the night.
You were? No, you were
not.
sleeping
no,
soundly.
I slept soundly.
You got a full 8.5.
Full 8.5. I was always the first one to sleep at the sleepovers.
Yes, because when you fall asleep, you are dead to the world.
Yeah, can't wake
me up. Talent.
I know it is. And so, who comes to the door at like 8:39 in the morning is your freaking mom asking for you, and we're all like, "Oh, fuck!"
Well, didn't she say she was bringing breakfast over? Which feels like it felt
it's
like
a trap.
Yes,
it's
it felt
trap.
like she had this excuse. Oh, I'm just being so kind, and that's not how my mom talks. But this is my mom voice. I'm just being so kind and bringing over breakfast for the girls. Oh, where's Grace? It was a trap. It was orchestrated.
Yeah, it was she must have known somehow, like mom's intuition that you were up to something. Like,
she doesn't do that type of stuff. She's never done that before.
She's never done that before.
Ever.
She knew.
She knew. She definitely
found out.
Somehow knew.
She found out. So now she's like asking, like, where is Grace? And then she starts kind of panicking, like, where is Grace? Because
where is she?
We're like not answering. And I think Haley had to talk to her, and I don't know. It wasn't me. I was like, I had no part. I slept.
That's so awkward that you guys are all like,
it was probably the most awkward thing that's ever happened to me because I didn't want to
give me
rat
up.
you out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, you can clearly see your mom's like straight up panicking. I think Mo did it. Our friend Mo must have done it.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm
She's
sure
got
she
the
was like,
best.
Susan. Yeah.
Susan, listen.
Listen, Susan.
And then
Grace has made the wrong decision.
she was so mad. And then Haley had to go home too.
Yeah, I
Right?
think she still got in trouble.
Haley still
it was
got in
found out
trouble.
that Haley had gone to this party.
Right. Then all the moms started talking.
Yep.
So I get home and my mom's like, were you at that party? And I was like, no, Mom, I fell asleep at like 8 o'clock per usual.
Yeah, of course. And I, that morning, got a phone call from my mom, and I didn't know that she was at Laura's. And she said, where are you? And I said, I'm at Laura's. And she said, no, you're not.
Oh, no.
I was like, fuck.
How'd you get, who brought you home?
So everyone was planning, that morning, because everyone was from Portland. We were just out at Sebago. Everyone was planning to drive back into Portland. And they were,
Right.
Alex was
Because the
going to
lake house wasn't far. It was like 30 minutes
it was
away from where we lived, our
Yes.
neighborhood.
Yeah. So I think, they were just
You're
going
going
to
to get a ride back with someone.
yeah, or drop me at Laura's or
Yeah.
something. But, and so I said that, my parents revealed that they knew I was at this party and they knew I hadn't slept at Laura's. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll just, get a ride back to Portland. And my dad was like, no, you're staying there and I'm coming to pick you up. And so
Steve.
I had to sit there and wait for my dad to come pick me up. And everyone knew that I was in trouble. And, everyone's
that
hanging out the next
sucks.
morning. And he came in and he was super pissed. And I had to like shamefully walk out with my father.
Oh, that's such a walk
And I was
of
grounded
shame.
for
A walk of
2
shame for a different reason?
Yes. Parent shame.
Parent shame.
Yes.
My dad's coming to get me.
Yeah. And I was grounded for 2 months. And it was the beginning.
months?
Yes. And it was the beginning of summer because it was junior prom. So it was in the spring.
Oh,
And I was grounded for like
God.
the 2 months of summer.
That sucks.
Yeah. It really sucked. It really sucked. It was not worth it.
Not worth it. Didn't seem like it.
No.
I liked my plan better.
It was fun though.
I still remember getting in trouble for something I didn't do. Like, my mom was really upset, and I still got a talking to about going to high school parties. And I was like, I wasn't even there.
I promise I wasn't invited.
We watched Shrek or something.
Yeah. Sounds lame.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you rather go to this party, get too drunk, throw up, pass out, and then
That sounds awful.
get shamed in the morning by your parents and then be grounded for 2 months? Doesn't that sound better?
Oh, my God.
So yeah, and that was junior prom.
Oh, man. Pizza
secret. I'm just glad Haley got in trouble, and I do remember my mom saying that it was smart of me to at least not call someone to come pick me up at 1 a.m. on junior prom night because people were probably driving drunk.
Yeah, probably. Maybe I did pick you up.
I didn't get picked up. I thought it was you and Vanessa who went out and picked
It
up
probably
Haley.
was. I probably just like blacked out, as in like blacked it out of my memory.
Yeah, not from alcohol.
I try not to remember that morning, but I do remember your mom
It's dramatic.
just being really upset. And I think it was Mo being like, Susan, listen.
We need to have a conversation about AC.
AC.
I so see Mo doing that.
Oh, man.
There was another time where Haley, it was for New Year's. We were going over to Vanessa's for New Year's, like sophomore year of high school. And Haley and I think snuck into her parents' vodka.
Oh.
And we poured like maybe 1 shot of vodka into a whole 2-liter bottle of
Yeah.
Coke. And we were
then-
drinking it at the New Year's party. And we were like, no one touch this. This is ours. And we thought we were so drunk. But it was like maybe we would have had a sip of vodka each total. And we didn't, it's not like we were drinking the whole bottle of fucking Coke. So we
Oh,
were like the
man.
bad kids of our friend group, but we
like,
were
so innocent at the same
Yes.
time.
like we really were not doing anything bad. That party at Danny's was, I think, the one time in high school where I did that. And of course I got caught immediately and got in a ton of trouble.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I wasn't getting away with shit.
should have partied with the theater kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been
and then
responsible.
the DD because you were scared you were going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right.
All right.
So,
Pizza secret. So if you're listening, kids,
don't
be better at hiding things from your parents than I was.
Yeah.
Is the lesson
That's
we should
the
all learn
lesson.
here.
Right, yeah. It's not about being truthful and making safe choices.
And not drinking underage.
Not drinking underage or going to a party at a cabin in the woods.
It's about not getting caught.
About not getting caught. Don't get caught.
Yeah. That's
the lesson you should
Do
all
what
take
you
away
want,
from
just
this.
don't get caught.
Yeah, be responsible about what you're doing. You know, it wasn't like it was a bunch of people I knew. It wasn't some random like older people's party.
Yeah.
It was just a bunch of us hanging out at a cabin.
Definitely no comparison to what's that show with Zendaya? Euphoria.
Yeah,
You're not like covered in glitter and like at a party with like grown men.
exactly. No, not at all. Like it was truly, even for a party, it was incredibly tame. It was just us like probably
playing,
playing
like,
beer
Jenga.
pong and like Jenga and like hanging out in this cabin. It was nothing crazy.
Oh
And
my
I probably
God.
had one shot of alcohol total.
I remember thinking you were so cool. I was like, I can't believe she got in trouble for drinking.
Right?
Wow.
That is
That's like a
pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
That's pretty cool of me.
Grounded for 2 months.
Pretty cool. My parents don't know how good they had it, you know?
I know. That's what I tried to tell my mom. Because both my brother and I, because I remember I started DDing because my brother started DDing. And I think my brother started DDing because that was the only way he was going to get invited to parties.
Make yourself useful.
Right?
Yeah.
You know what he would do? Here's a bonus pizza secret. So he would DD, but he only had a pickup truck. And sometimes there'd be people who are like at these parties who are like really, because I went with him on a DD ride. He's got like a call in the middle of the night, and he's like, I gotta go like rescue a friend. You want to come with? And I was like, yeah, I want to see what this party does. So
What that party do?
we didn't even go in. We just like went to the front of the house, and a bunch of people, they would get in the back of his truck, but he had like a cover over the bed, and so he would just shove
Smart.
people in there. And they would never know, and he'd just like go slow over the speed bumps.
Stowaways.
Yeah,
Or go really fast with the speed
he
bumps. Isn't that
could.
fun?
Yeah, he didn't. And then like I think his girlfriend at the time got to ride shotgun, which was awfully nice of him. He didn't put her in the back.
That was nice.
But yeah, so he DD'd to get invited to the parties, and then I started DDing because I was like, oh, that's what everybody does. But apparently not.
No, sometimes you can get invited to them and be the one drinking, and then get in a lot
not
of
that
trouble.
cool.
No, I mean I wasn't that cool either, because I couldn't pull it off.
Cool enough to get caught.
Cool, just cool enough to get caught. Cool enough to be invited. Not so
Oh,
cool
man.
that I could pull it
Caught
off.
in the worst way too.
The
'Cause
worst
in front of all
way.
your friends.
I know, and like putting all my friends in that situation of like
Yeah.
having to lie for me and
Yeah,
cover for me.
I think I was pretty upset at you that
yeah, I think
you
everyone
got
was.
caught. Yeah, I think we were all pretty upset.
Yeah, that is a
'cause-
bad position to put you guys in.
Yeah,
Of like having to
thanks.
cover for me.
Yeah, I mean, we clearly didn't. We are all snitches.
Yep. That was just the
we
worst.
could have been like, oh, she just went down the street to get bagels.
My
or-
mom wouldn't believe. She'd be like, "I'll wait."
I know.
Great, I'll wait. She
If
definitely knew
Alice-
something was up. She came to catch me, and she caught me.
She did catch you. I'm surprised Teresa didn't come with her.
I think she knew.
Teresa would have tore into us.
Yeah.
Because remember that one time we were going to try, we can fade out here.
Well, we got to say bye and
Oh.
everything.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, rather than telling more dumb stories, if you like this podcast
Yeah.
and you're like, let's do more.
More of this. More of this.
More of this. More embarrassing high school stories. Yeah. You can find us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. You can leave us a review. You can leave us a certain amount of stars. I think right now, at the time, we're only accepting 5 stars.
Yep, let me
So-
check. Yes.
Yep.
In fact, we are
Yep.
only accepting 5 stars.
Okay, so that's the deal,
Yep.
everyone. All right, 5 stars only.
Yep.
You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on our cute little Facebook group. You can buy us a coffee at ko-fi.com
.com/Weirds of a Feather.
Yep. Get us a little coffee to keep this horse train going. Everything goes back to the podcast.
Yep. You can write us an email at weirdsofafeather@gmail.com.
Or you could DM us on Instagram.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Right?
All right.
All right. I think we did it.
We did it.
We don't know how to end things.
We
We just drag it out on and on
this
and on.
has been the longest pizza secret / ending we have ever done.
It's pretty ambiguous if it's still a pizza secret or if we're ending.
Is it the ending? Is it a pizza secret? We just don't know.
There's no way to
There's
know.
no way to know.
Yeah. So we're just kind of like squawk out here
Yeah,
and fade it
it's
out.
Fade it out, squawk it out. Eventually, hopefully, it'll get quieter and quieter, and then it will just be done.
Yeah. And then you can
So,
go on with your day
yeah.
in silence. And, think about what you just heard.
Yeah.
Have a good think.
Noodle about it a little bit.
Yeah. Oh. Oh. Halloween ghost. Oh.